I'm Joan Lunden. Welcome to DirecTV Hometown Heroes. We travel all over America to communities large and small to find stories about DirecTV subscribers who perform extraordinary acts of kindness and courage every day. Tonight, the story of a woman who travels the back roads of Vermont to right the wrong of domestic abuse.
There is a lot of abuse that happens in rural communities.
I would never be where I am today if it wasn't for her.
Here's a big piece.
Plus a special place in Minnesota where families with nothing can get everything they need.
Thanks to Bridget, my whole house is furnished and filled and everything. So it's wonderful.
And in Boston, find out about an innovative program that uses the power of play to help heal children.
The biggest goal is that we contribute to creating a generation of children who see the world as filled with possibility.
This is DirecTV Hometown Heroes.
People get ready, there's a train a-coming, picking up passengers from coast to coast. All you need is faith to hear that diesel humming. You don't need no ticket, you just get on board.
We begin tonight with a story about a serious subject. Domestic violence is a huge and sometimes hidden problem. According to some experts, nearly 1 in every 3 American women goes through an assault in her adult life. Now imagine you're a domestic violence survivor in a rural community where it's hard to get help because of isolation. Well, thankfully, the women of rural Vermont have someone on their side. Chelsea, Vermont. It's a modest little town, situated smack dab in the center of a state renowned for its spectacular fall colors, romantic covered bridges, and endless winding rural roads. But there's a darker side to all this natural beauty. Along these remote roads, many women live in isolation, virtual prisoners in their own homes.
On some of these back roads, you will find that there is a lot of abuse that happens in rural communities. It happens behind closed doors.
This is Winona Ward, a long-distance truck driver turned crusading lawyer.
At least 50% of the homicides that occur in Vermont are due to domestic violence. And then if you add the suicides, quite often happen afterwards, then that raises that to 65%.
Winona is the founder of Have Justice Will Travel.
We are a nonprofit.
It's a free, comprehensive legal service for women trying to escape domestic violence.
She said if she ever took the little girl and left, that he would kill her.
Have Justice does everything from make house calls on women involved in divorce and custody cases
This is a lot like the house I grew up in.
to getting clients to and from court and providing thorough follow-up.
The most unique thing about Have Justice is that 90 to 95% of the clients that we work with do not return to abusers or do not go on to other abusive relationships. And that's because we don't leave them at the courthouse door.
Winona says she's no stranger to Vermont's winding back roads or domestic abuse.
My father was extremely physically abusive to my mother, and he was physically and sexually abusive to all of his children.
Winona says that for years her mother tried to protect her children and herself, but there was no way out.
At that time, if she had used the legal system, what she would have been told is a man's home is his castle, and we don't interfere there.
For Winona, the turning point came 17 years ago when her brother was arrested for sexual abuse.
He grew up to be an abuser the same as my father. He followed in his footsteps. And I realized that the only way my brother would get help was if he was incarcerated.
Determined to stop her family cycle of abuse,
Good morning.
Winona worked closely with authorities to send her brother to prison.
Is Bill in today? I decided then that I really wanted to be able to help people that were going through this. And that was why I chose to go back to school
At the age of 44, Winona went back to college and then got her degree here at the Vermont Law School.
I went to law school with the purpose of being able to help victims.
After getting her law degree in 1998, Winona founded Have Justice Will Travel. By then, Winona was married to Harold Ward, and they worked together as long-haul truckers. Eventually, they gave up trucking, and Winona turned her Ford Explorer into a mobile office. Then she lit out over Vermont's endless back roads in search of women in need.
I very quickly had 40 clients.
Brandy Todd was one of the first women Winona helped.
I was in a violent marriage, and I had 3 children and no place to go. Have Justice Will Travel helped me feed my children, helped me go back to college, and I got my degree in law and advocacy and paralegal studies.
Brandy now works as a paralegal in the Have Justice office in Randolph, about 45 minutes from Chelsea.
Working with her, going to court with her, seeing how she interacts with women made me really want to do what she does.
Where are you going to go?
I saw the difference that she made in women's lives.
Winona has made a difference in the lives of thousands of women throughout Vermont. We rode along when she went to check up on one of them.
Good morning, Lady Jane.
Morning. How are you? How are you today?
When Robin LaFrancis met Winona a few years ago, she was trapped in an abusive marriage and had no money or resources to escape. It took 2 years to finalize Robin's divorce, but Robin says Winona gave her a new life.
I'm not sure when they switch them around. I would never be where I am today if it wasn't for her. I have a job. Everything's mine. And now I'm looking at buying a home.
Success stories like Robin's motivate Winona to keep expanding her efforts across the state.
Good to see you.
You take care.
You take care too.
It has grown from just me working out of my own kitchen and representing clients out of my car to the point where we now have 4 attorneys and we have 5 offices in Vermont. I'm anxious to sign it for you.
Yes.
Winona recently joined forces with the local sheriff, who's forming a special investigative unit targeting domestic violence.
Worked on it before with some of the people from Safeline.
Last year alone, we documented over 70 incidents of domestic violence. So it's an issue here.
Thank you.
With her experience, Winona could be charging hundreds of dollars an hour for her services. Instead, she lives modestly with her husband and keeps her focus on serving for free the women and children in her community who lack resources to help themselves.
C3.
Winona is a hero to every citizen of this county.
It sounds to me like she might almost need shelter.
If it wasn't for her, a lot of these people wouldn't be getting any help at all.
She's a very wonderful lady, and she does a wonderful service to everyone in the state of Vermont.
Anybody that would come up with the idea to travel to women's houses in the middle of nowhere because they know this woman needs help and needs to get away from her batterer, to me is a hero.
Winona told us that breaking the cycle of violence in her own family gave her the strength to know she could make a difference. Now she hopes that other women follow in her footsteps.
Have Justice. It's the story of one woman helping another who helps another who helps another.
This gift is for you to use as needed.
And just doing that means that we're changing society.
Isn't that cool? Yay.
Winona's hope is that by the end of the year, she'll be able to provide services to women throughout the entire state of Vermont. And for all that she's doing to help those trapped in difficult circumstances, we are proud to call Winona Ward a DirecTV hometown hero. Coming up next,
We'll take it over this way.
the Minnesota store that carries everything for families in need, and it's all free.
Yeah, I can work with these codes.
And later, we head from the Midwest to New England to meet the playmakers behind one of the most creative programs we've ever seen.
If you want to spread joy, you better have yourself some joy.
For more information on these and all of our stories, go to directv.com/heroes. You're watching DirecTV Hometown Heroes. I'm Joan Lunden. Anyone who's ever moved into a new place knows that furnishing a residence can be quite a challenge. But for families going through difficult economic times, it can be even more of a stretch. We sent correspondent Rachel Campos Duffy to a warehouse in Minnesota that came up with a great solution.
Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's known as the City of Lakes, but it's also famous for something else, a modern temple to the joys of shopping. Every year, 40 million people come here to the Mall of America. But there's a more fulfilling shopping experience just 5 minutes away. It's a place called Bridging. This is no ordinary houseware store. It's a nonprofit group that provides a house full of free furniture and other items for the home to those in need.
We'll take it over this way.
Last year, Bridging served over 16,000 people.
So it's anything in this area.
But according to Fran Heitzman, who founded it in 1987, just a few years ago, it nearly went out of business.
We were in a very, very deep valley. We needed money. We needed a whole change in the atmosphere of this place.
That change in the atmosphere came with the arrival of Ron Osterbauer.
Bridging, Ron speaking.
And your role specifically is?
I'm the executive director, so basically I oversee all the operations, everything from donations of furniture coming in to clients being scheduled to fundraising to personnel management.
Ron turned Bridging around, refocusing its mission of closing the gap between society's haves and have-nots.
One pot and one pan. What's the philosophy in dealing with the clients that come through Bridging?
Philosophy is treat them with dignity and respect.
Now let's get silverware.
Everybody coming through the doors here is treated as equal by everybody else, and we really want them to have a true shopping experience.
Every week, 130 families are referred by social service agencies to one of Bridging's 2 warehouses in the Minneapolis area.
If you see anything here that you could use,
like this.
The day we were there, Ron gave me a personal tour.
This is a very big warehouse. How big is it?
It's a 26,000 square foot warehouse and contains about 5,000 to 6,000 items that are on display for people to choose from. On average, everybody gets 20 to 25 items, and it really depends on the family size. So they'll get a sofa, they'll get a love seat, they'll get 2 stuffed chairs. It could be an armoire, a bookcase, nightstands, lamps. We'll try to get 1 dresser for every bedroom, and then beds to meet the needs of the family. If they have 5 people, then we'll get them 5 beds.
The warehouses are stacked to the ceiling with furniture, dishes, sheets, blankets, anything you need to furnish a house. And when they run out of chairs, those are built at a nearby prison. Ron also reaches out to corporations for large-scale donations.
Target donates all of their leftover display furniture. We work with hotels, we work with individuals, all of it in an effort to get the furniture that we need to give back to the families.
All that, so when a client like Saressa Turner arrives,
We've got some on the other side.
they're joined by a personal shopper.
That one? And then you can get one more.
I went along to see how it works.
Yeah, I can work with these girls. Okay.
The shopper helps them pick out everything they need for their homes, all free of charge.
Little things that people take for granted every day when you don't have them. You're like, I need those, you know, and then you get to come somewhere here that they help you, and it's not, they look down on you, it's here to help you.
Saressa moved to Minneapolis from Illinois. Her job council referred her to Bridging so she can outfit her new place.
Thank you. Whatever was bad yesterday is so much better today.
Tammy Henry came to Bridging to furnish a new home for her family.
You got a color in mind? You want flowers? You want stripes?
They've been living without things of their own for several years.
Isn't that gorgeous?
It don't mean everything right now because I don't have nothing right now, so it helps. Okay, what about this one?
I tell you what, if it was purple, you'd like it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every little bit counts, believe me. So just show me the sleeper bed, then I'll probably take that one. I'm just happy they was here for me, you know. Appreciate that.
After the shopping is over, if clients are unable to take their new belongings with them, Bridging arranges free delivery. We were there when Tammy's new furniture arrived at her place, the day after her visit.
I feel great. My whole house is furnished and filled and everything, so it's wonderful.
Tammy and her family could hardly contain their enthusiasm.
Thank you, too.
Tammy is just one of thousands of people helped by Bridging in 2008. Ron's hope is that in the future, that number will grow as others take on the work of helping those less fortunate.
What are your future plans for the organization?
There's a need for bridging in every major city in the country. I mean, basically, there's people living in poverty in those cities. There's items that people have that they can donate. The long-range plan would be eventually to find some way to get the word out and help the organization spread.
And for Fran Heitzman, the man who founded Bridging more than 2 decades ago, there's satisfaction in knowing that Ron will continue using his creation to better the lives of others.
I could not think of a better person to leave my legacy to than Ron Osterbauer. He has just done a fabulous job here, and I guess the best way to express it would be to say, I love Ron Osterbauer with all my heart for what he has done for me and for Bridging.
Another day at Bridging.
Another day at Bridging.
Ron told us he often gets inquiries about how to set up a program like Bridging in other communities, and he told us they're always willing to help. For his generous efforts to furnish the homes of people in need, Ron Osterbauer is a DirecTV hometown hero. Coming up next, find out how traumatized children regain their love of life with the help of this man.
I love to work with people. I get far more than I give.
To nominate a hero, go to our website at directv.com/heroes. If you're raising children like I am, you know how often they're exposed to violence on television and video games and in daily life. Well, experts say that exposure can have long-term effects on their health and welfare. But we found a man in Boston who's found a way to rekindle a child's joy and playfulness. Correspondent Jennifer Santiago has the story.
Newbury Street in Boston, Massachusetts. It's one of the city's trendiest and most popular places to eat, shop, and people watch. It may seem to be an unlikely place to find the headquarters for a nonprofit organization, but you don't know the people behind Project Joy.
Whip them around the side. And stop.
Meet Steve Gross, the founder of Project Joy and his chief playmakers.
Split! We ripped the parachute. Get back to work.
Do you want to get dates right now while we have our calendars out?
Steve's the man behind a one-of-a-kind program that uses the power of play to transform the lives of children affected by loss, poverty, and violence.
You feel like playing? Do you feel like playing? Do you feel like playing? Do you guys want to give it a shake, shake? Shake, shake. Play is not going to eliminate the terrible things that children have seen or experienced. Twisty shake. But it will show them another side of life that will help them to be resilient and to overcome the challenges that they may face. Down and under.
Some of our children come from homeless shelters, and this might be the only fun they have all day.
Can we do it one more time? Yeah! Do you really want to do it one more time?
It absolutely makes a difference in their lives.
It all began nearly 20 years ago when Steve emerged from college with a degree in social work and a strong desire to help others that was handed down from his father.
His philosophy was that as human beings, the one thing we have control over is making someone else's journey from birth to death all the more meaningful and joyful by us having been there along the way to help.
He's a very joyous person who I think wants to share the joy with as many people as he can.
Splish! Splash!
Steve formed Project Joy so he could play a positive role in the lives of at-risk kids.
I thought about having an organization that was committed to ensuring that no child ever lost their playfulness, sense of wonder, their passion, their joy, and that they really felt loved. What's going on, Steve?
Steve has become a leading expert in the growing field of play therapy.
Just checking in. I want to make sure everything is okay.
And even though his home base is here in Boston, he'll travel anywhere in the world to help a traumatized child.
This is downtown Biloxi here. As you can see, this area has just suffered a catastrophic amount of damage.
During the last few years, Steve and Project Joy have brought happiness and relief to thousands of children in need, including those devastated by recent natural and man-made disasters.
And what's your name?
Zaire.
Hi, Zaire.
In New York City after September 11th, in Mississippi and Louisiana following Hurricane Katrina, in Banda Aceh, Indonesia following tsunami, or in, the Middle East following all the armed conflict.
But since Steve can't be everywhere at once, he started a training program so child care professionals from all over the world could come to him.
These games are just a way of engaging children.
We attended a session at the University of New Hampshire.
If it's not joyful, then we're doing something wrong with these activities, and we gotta figure out what it is. That's where the genius is. We're gonna start with a game. This is a game for us.
Steve says the best way to help at-risk and traumatized kids regain their love of play is to teach their caregivers, who are themselves often overworked and under great stress.
The first thing that we do with the training is try to help child care providers tap into their own playfulness. You can't spread something you don't have. If you want to spread joy, you better have yourself some joy.
It is showing me how to get back in touch with the playfulness and the joy inside of me, so that I can transfer that to my students.
These retreats are really helping teachers develop a plan to nurture their own playfulness and joy, because happy teachers make happy children.
I just feel like a different person. I came here kind of tired, kind of listless, and kind of without a lot of joy, and I feel great now.
Over the course of an intensive weekend, attendees at a Project Joy retreat get hands-on instruction in a variety of games and exercises that are all designed to improve the lives of children exposed to violence or stressful situations.
This ball into any kind of ball. Does anyone have an eye? This is a hot ball.
Ant is working with all of the teachers doing activities that we call Imagimotion. And it's really about helping kids to use their imagination, their creativity, coordinate that with their body and their movements so that kids can really cultivate a healthy, strong, creative imagination.
Ooh, everybody put their hands in water, come on.
Project Joy trainings are free, and so are the program tools, materials, and ongoing support they provide.
Chill. Like a boy.
All thanks to a childhood friend of Steve's.
Can I fold? Like kind of more sailor?
I don't think you want to.
John Jacobs and his brother own a clothing company called Life is Good that promotes optimism and community service.
That's why Life is Good and Project Joy fit so well together.
Through their Life is Good Kids Foundation, the Jacobs brothers fund Project Joy.
You can't take a 4-year-old, lie him on a couch, have him talk through his problems with a therapist.
Love it.
But you get them using their bodies, laughing, they're like a whole new person. It made all the sense in the world to us, and we said, where do we sign up?
I want to be wearing all Life is Good. Down
Nice.
the boxes, socks.
We got your boxes.
With funding in place and an ever-growing influence, Steve says the sky's the limit for Project Joy.
The biggest goal is that we contribute to creating a generation of children who see the world as filled with possibility. Who approach life confidently and joyfully, and they can go out in the world and feel safe enough to explore it with gusto.
The people around Steve say that he's already well on his way.
Steve Gross, he is a hero. He has done something that a lot of people are afraid to do.
Let's see those muscles.
Leave the mainstream and follow your dream. And especially when your dream is all about helping communities, man, it doesn't get better than that.
Can you guys get a bubble wand?
He's a hero because he's a leader, and he's a great leader because he leads with optimism, with energy, and with passion.
Keep making it something that's totally outside the box.
He's a hero because he's bringing joy and playfulness into children's lives and into adults' lives.
For Steve, becoming a Pied Piper of play means he's done his part in helping at-risk children grow up more socially, physically, and emotionally healthy.
I don't view myself as a hero. I love to play. I love to work with people. I get far more than I give.
Who else is playing?
I feel a sense of meaning and purpose in my life, and that helps me find my own joy.
Thank you guys for playing with us, man.
Steve told us his goal is to complete Project Joy training with 2,000 teachers all across the country over the next 5 years. And for his efforts to bring joy to traumatized children everywhere around the world, we are proud to call Steve Gross a DirecTV hometown hero. Finally, tonight's Hero Update. Last season, correspondent Grant Goodeve brought us the story of Family to Family, the nonprofit relief program that brings food to hungry families in rural America. Well, since that time, the program has grown by leaps and bounds. More on that after we take a brief look back.
We are the second poorest community in the United States and the poorest community in the state of Illinois.
Pastor Dyson is part of a unique grassroots effort to bring food, supplies, and love to this needy community. It all started half a continent away here in Hastings-on-Hudson, a wealthy suburb of New York City. 4 years ago, Pam Kohner read a newspaper article about the poverty and hunger in Pembroke. Pam knew she had to do something. She immediately got in touch with Pastor Dyson.
She was concerned with the children here. She was concerned overall that there was something that she could do.
With that phone call, Family to Family was born. It linked needy families in Pembroke and elsewhere with a community of families all across America who wanted to help them.
The idea that somebody 1,000 miles away knows that you exist when you are so profoundly poor is a little bit like that wheel of life shifting ever so slightly. You know, everything looks just a little bit different.
This past November, Family to Family provided complete Thanksgiving meals to every one of the 700 families sponsored by its program. The inspirational stories you've just seen show how DirecTV subscribers are changing lives in their communities. Whether it's providing free legal care to women trapped in abusive relationships or teaching traumatized children how to regain the simple joy of play, these unsung heroes show us how we can all make a difference. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on DirecTV Hometown Heroes. Until then, I'm Joan Lunden.
People get ready, there's a train coming, picking up passengers from coast to coast. All you need is faith to hear that diesel humming. You don't need no ticket, you just get